South China Sea, where at this time there is tremendous geopolitical tension, and the reason for this is that China is trying to take control of this entire area. The South China Sea is an area of 35 lakh square kilos, which is spread from Singapore to Taiwan. Straight. And that is why countries like Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, Brunei, Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan are very upset with this claim of China. 80% of e-trade of the entire Pacific Ocean passes through this South China Sea, and China is very aggressively building its military base in this entire area. But on the other hand, in response to this, America has also laid a network of its military bases around China, after which the geopolitical tension in this entire area has intensified, and many analyses are claiming that the South China Sea is the only area where World War III can start. The truth is that in today's video, we will understand why the South China Sea is so important for the world. Similarly, we will also try to understand from China's perspective why it wants to control this entire area, and finally we will see what could be the outcome of all this. So let us move towards the most contested sea of the world, which is called the South China Sea. 30% of the sea trade of the entire world takes place through the South China Sea. Every year, 1,100 crore oil barrels and 190 lakh crore cubic feet of natural gas go to Southeast Asian countries through this sea. The South China Sea connects the Pacific Ocean to the Indian Ocean, and that is why it is a very important trade route. And whoever controls it will have control over 30% of the trade of the entire world. As of today, 5 countries claim different areas of the South China Sea, and their claim is on the basis of the United Nations Law of the Seas. According to this, the area from the coastline of every country to 200 miles in the sea is an exclusive economic zone, or EEZ in short form, which means that country will have the right over the natural resources of that area and the trade passing through it. For example, if oil is discovered within 200 miles from the coast of Vietnam, then Vietnam will have the right over it. Similarly, any part of the sea which is not EE will be an international water domain, meaning, according to the time law of the United Nations, every country will have rights over it. Now all the countries present here claim their territory according to this EEZ law except China. According to China, it has a historical claim on the entire South China Sea. When Japan lost in World War II, China took advantage of the situation and drew this 9-dash line and declared about 90% of South China Sea as its area. Earlier, this area was under the control of Japan. In 1973, when the UN made a law for a 200-mile exclusive economic zone, China refused to accept this law and insisted on it. They said that they have the right over the entire South China Sea with the dotted line. Similarly, the South China Sea game has Spratly Islands right in the center. These are many deserted islands where no one lives, but China, Vietnam, Philippines, and Malaysia claim them. All these countries want to claim these islands because whoever claims these islands, his exclusive economic zone will automatically increase. And that is why China is making a military base on these islands, and this is where America enters. Now America has neither any claim nor any involvement in the South China Sea. But because it is a world superpower and China is a big threat for it, it wants to stop its growing military presence, and that is why it is building its military base around China. A belt sea is being created so that China can be stopped from advancing. This belt starts from the Japanese city of Okinawa, where America has 32 military facilities. Then America has a base on the Ko and Unagon Islands of Japan. So there are a total of about 30,000 American soldiers in Japan. The next point is Taiwan, where America has about 200 soldiers. About 66 years ago, in 1958, there were 20,000 American soldiers in Taiwan, and America had even installed nuclear weapons here. But then in 1970, America removed its nuclear weapons from here and called back its army because the beach distance between China and Taiwan is only 100 miles, and China was very upset with the American presence so close, and the matter was leading to a direct confrontation. After Ivan, the next point is Philippines, which has an American airbase on the Palawan Island, where there are 2,000 American soldiers. Similarly, the Philippines also has Luzon Island Ware-Clerk Airways, where there are about 1,000 American soldiers. Similarly, here in Solapur, about 500 American soldiers and American anti-aircraft system have been deployed to intercept Chinese planes. And then finally in Vietnam, there are about 500 American soldiers at the Dynamo Air Base. There is also an agreement between the governments of America and Vietnam that the American Air Force can use the Air Force of Vietnam at any time in case of war, and this story is not over yet. Australia is another big player in this strategy of choking China. There is a militant agreement between America, UK, and Australia, which is called AUKUS. According to this agreement, these three countries are jointly building a submarine force so that it can monitor the entire Pacific Ocean. America and UK have already built a base at the port of Perth, where all these Marines are being trained. So if we look from China's perspective, America's strategy is very aggressive. All of China's sea trade takes place through this 14,000-kilometer-long Eastern Coast Plan, and this trade route is surrounded by American bases. China's trade goes to South Asia, Middle East, Africa, and Europe through three straits. One is the Strait of Malacca, which is on the beaches of Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. The second is the Sunda Strait, which is on the beaches of Java and Sumatra Island of Indonesia, and the third is the Lombok Strait, which is on the beaches of two islands of Indonesia. The countries which have beaches on these three states are all friends of America and can do these things on its behest, as a result of which the Chinese economy can collapse in a few weeks. That is why, for the last few years, China has been very aggressively trying to take control of this sea. Today, China has the second largest navy in the world. In 2022, while America's military spending was $87,700 crore dollars, China's spending was $30,000 crore dollars, whereas just a few years ago in 1990, China's military spending was only $900 crore dollars. China wants to protect all its trade roads from any blockade through its navy. Its economy is already growing very fast, and if we look at this graph, it is very clear how China is going to cross America very soon and become the world's largest economy. For the last 80 years, America has been ruling the entire world. But as has always happened in human history, that empires reach their peak, then they decline, and some other empire takes their place. Just like this. Now it seems like someone else is going to take America's place, and it looks like it's going to be China. America will try its best to stop China from becoming the world's superpower. And for this, even if it has to block China's trade routes, even if it has to pressurize it through military means, America will do whatever is in its control. On the other hand, China seems unstoppable. After the alliance with Russia, China has become geopolitically very powerful, and this race to become a world superpower has become even more interesting. But this race is going to push our world towards a very big war very soon. For the last 1.5 years, we have been mentioning this growing global geopolitical tale in our videos, and with every passing time, the world is getting closer to a big war. Let's hope that sanity prevails, and everyone comes to their senses. These are all the sources from where we have consulted for this video. If you want to see such geopolitical videos, then do let us know in the comments below. We get to know your feedback only through your comments. See you in the next video with another interesting